Welcome back to the Charlotte Wallace YouTube channel for another fashion transformation. In this video I will be showing you how I transformed this into this. So I opened up the back, I added this stunning collar, and I constructed this from scratch, so stay tuned to see how I did this top. I also did this crop top, which was really easy as well, so keep on watching. Be sure to follow me at Charlotte Wallace MUA on Instagram and Facebook. For our first and easiest DIY, I cut this dress directly in half above those weird pockety bits, and I got this first crop top because it's a stretchy material. I don't need to sew any hemlines. For the second crop top, it's much more complicated. I took a well-fitting t-shirt and I folded it in half, and a piece of newspaper also folded in half in the same place, and I just traced that with a pen. The next step was to just fold that t-shirt away and make sure I could see my lines, and there we have it. That's our own pattern piece. Now I can cut this out with my scissors and I can open it up and I will have a full-on pattern. I laid out my material, making sure I've got two pieces folded over, and I put the folded side of my pattern piece along the folded side of the material. I'm going to be maintaining the hemline across the bottom. I don't need to redo that if I use the one that's already there. So after pinning all of that down so that it doesn't move, I can then cut it out. So I'll be cutting around the whole of this, and when I cut the original pattern out, I left a seam allowance, so I will be cutting this directly across and very close to the newspaper. When you open this out, you should have half of a top. So now we're going to do the other half. It's the exact same steps as before, so be careful with cutting it out, and when you open it up it should be the same. So now we're going to put those two pieces together. I line them up along the bottom where the seam is done already, and once that's straight and aligned, then you can see that the back piece has quite a lot more space. I don't really know how that happened, but in the end it still worked out. I'm going to pin these two pieces together along just that side, and then the top, and then the same on the opposite side, the top and that side. I'm leaving out the armholes, the top hole as well for the head, and of course the bottom. Once those are pinned like that, you can get to sewing. Once that's done, you should have a very neat seam when it's turned the right way around. You can now put your top on and make sure it fits, and make any adjustments if it doesn't. So the next thing we will do is the collar. I've got this beautiful embroidered piece of ribbon to work with, and I thought it would look beautiful as a choker. So I'm going to be putting that around my neck to make sure it's big enough, and it's actually too big, so I'll be taking a measurement and then cutting the excess off. So now I've put the top on inside out and the collar is on backwards, and I'm going to be pinning the front and then the two front sides. This is just so that I can get the top off again. The next thing you'll have to do is seam rip the back, so I've got a nice triangle now. This means I'll be able to take the top off, so now I can pin the back as well. And I've put it on inside out because it's just much more helpful so that you can see what you're doing. So turn it inside out, make sure it looks good, and then you can turn it back inside out and you can get to sewing. Make sure you sew right across the bottom so you don't ruin the embroidery. Once that's done, I put it back on backwards, and I just had a look at where I wanted to put the button. So it's really simple to sew a button on. It looks as simple as this, and I put it right in the middle of the end of that choker, and then I did a loop stitch just to end that off. So the next part I did was I overlapped the other piece without the button over, and I felt it with my finger, and then I folded that in half so that I could cut a small hole with my scissors. That way when I open it up it should be plenty big. And I then stitched the end of that to make sure that the button wouldn't rip it open, if you know what I mean, like the end of it. And then you can loop your button through, try it on again, and actually your top is done! Thank you guys so much for watching this DIY. I love this crop top. I'm going to be wearing it so much, and the one before that we did earlier is so simple and so easy, and you can transform any dress. And the best part about it is that you won't be wasting any of the material at the bottom. I hope you guys will be back to see more tutorials. The skirt I actually made as well. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Charlotte Wallace MUA, and of course subscribe to the channel with your notifications on, like the video, comment, and yeah, give it a share for a girl. Love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.